A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant escalation of tensions surrounding the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, former President Donald Trump has threatened to impose stringent financial penalties on Russia, drawing attention to the two largest consumers of Russian oil, India and China. This development comes as India has rapidly increased its imports of Russian crude oil since the onset of the conflict in Ukraine in early 2022. Recent data from CLER reveals that more than one-third of India's oil purchases this year have originated from Russia, a stark contrast to the less than 1% recorded prior to the war. Similarly, China's imports of Russian oil have also surged during this period. Despite Trump's alarming rhetoric, the market's initial response has been largely indifferent. On Monday, global benchmark Brent crude oil prices fell nearly 2%, closing below $70 a barrel, indicating a lack of immediate concern regarding potential disruptions to crude oil flows. Trump's proposed penalties, described as secondary tariffs, are set to take effect in 50 days unless Russia ceases its military actions in Ukraine. Matt Whitaker, the U.S. ambassador to NATO, elaborated that these actions would effectively act as sanctions on nations that continue to purchase Russian oil, specifically targeting India and China. In June, Russian oil exports to India reached a staggering 2.1 million barrels per day, marking the highest monthly intake in nearly a year and approaching the record set in May 2023. Conversely, while China's purchases have not increased at the same rate, they have remained consistently above 1 million barrels per day since the conflict began. Industry experts suggest that if India were to lose access to Russian oil, it could turn to other OPEC members for supply, albeit at a higher cost. Mukesh Sahdev, head of commodity markets at Rystad Energy AS, noted that crude oil from the Middle East and Africa could fill the gap left by Russian supply, but it would come at a premium. For instance, imports from Saudi Arabia in May were reported to be $5 a barrel higher than those from Russia, while shipments from Iraq were approximately 50 cents more expensive. In a related development, China has responded to the proposed sanctions, which they deem as illegal unilateral sanctions. Following comments from Senator Lindsey Graham regarding the potential for a 500% secondary tariff on those trading with Russia, Chinese officials have reiterated their stance against such measures. Lin Jian, spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, emphasized that the resolution of the Ukraine conflict can only be achieved through dialogue and negotiation and criticized the coercive nature of tariff wars. Senator Graham, alongside Senator Richard Blumenthal, has introduced legislation that would grant the president the authority to impose tariffs ranging from 0 to 500% on countries that support Russia through trade. Graham highlighted the importance of targeting nations like China, India, and Brazil, which have been significant purchasers of Russian oil, as their financial support enables Russia to continue its military operations. This sanctions package is designed to provide Trump with maximum flexibility to respond to the situation. Alongside the proposed tariffs, Trump has also indicated plans to bolster military support for Ukraine, including sending additional Patriot air defense missiles and ensuring that European allies contribute to the procurement of advanced American weaponry. The ongoing conflict has seen an uptick in Russian aerial attacks on Ukrainian cities, leading to increased international scrutiny and pressure on President Putin to seek a peaceful resolution. Trump has expressed frustration over the continuing violence, stating, "My conversations with Putin are very pleasant, and then the missiles go off at night." In response to Trump's threats, Russian officials have dismissed the implications of the proposed sanctions. Dmitry Medvedev, a senior Russian official, characterized Trump's ultimatum as theatrical and indicated that Russia remains unfazed by the potential consequences. As the geopolitical landscape continues to evolve, the impact of these proposed financial penalties on the global oil market and international relations remains to be seen. With both India and China heavily reliant on Russian oil, the ramifications of any sanctions could lead to significant shifts in energy dynamics and economic implications for these nations. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.